What is up, Retromaniacs? My name is Mike. His name's Joe. His name's EP, and we're here to talk about cards. You know, with all the rumors swirling about Fanatics and Topps potentially taking over the Marvel license, we thought it would be fun to maybe look at some of the Topps IP and think about maybe what cards they could make once they get, if they get the Marvel license. So we're going to talk about that today. We're each going to give you some of our thoughts and ideas. We're going to give you a base set, and we're going to give you some insert sets. So, Joe, kick us off.
I love how you said if, because a little what if. We're doing a little Marvel-esque what if, right?
Yeah,
so
we
work
are.
out
Absolutely.
perfect. That was intentional.
Totally.
So we're each doing one base set, but EP said, well, I have an honorable mention. And I'm like, well, if you have an honorable mention, I got to give an honorable mention. I'm going to give my honorable mention first, and I think they should do a Bowman set, just a base Bowman set. And the reason I say this, I think they should have first Bowmans of all the characters. For those of you who are not sports fans and sports cards collectors, the first Bowman, especially for baseball, is better than the rookie card in a lot of cases.
Yep.
And these would be the first cards, the first Bowmans, if you will, of a lot of these characters in Topps products. So having a first Bowman set, I think would be really, really neat. So my actual set, though, is a set that they stopped making a couple of years ago, I believe. Topps Gold Label. I'm going to go with the 1999 version. Mike's throwing pictures up here, right? So I'm going to go Topps Gold Label. The thing I really love the most about Gold Label is the dual pictures. So you could have an action shot of Spider-Man or an action shot of Punisher, someone like that, and then you have kind of a silhouette picture of them kind of looking at the camera. I think the artist, and I want all new artwork for these. I don't want them pulling from the comic books. I think the artist would have a ton of fun doing the profile and the action pose on the same card. You see him do it with sketch cards all the time with multiple characters on the same sketch card. I would really love to see that. And the cool thing about Gold Label kind of could be their masterpieces set, because they need that equivalent. And masterpieces, when it comes out, it has different levels. So if you look at Topps Gold Label, you've got the base, you've got the black, you've got the class 2, you've got the class 2 black, you've got the red, you've got the class 2 red. Like, there's so many options for you to do parallels and different levels of each character. I think that would be a lot of fun. It would mostly be a parallel driven set, but I think coming from Upper Deck, I really do think that would be a good way to transition the Marvel Masterpiece IP and use it as a Topps brand.
Yep, amazing, really, really cool stuff. I love the idea of obviously the fresh art, but then the way the hobby is right now with the parallels. Like I think you almost have to have parallels in whatever set you're making. They're going to put them in anyway, so why not plan for it?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, fantastic. I mean, how awesome would they look? That late 90s Gold Label is something you could put out just like it is today and be a beautiful.
It'd be one of the best looking sets out today.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Huge fan. All right, EP, your base set.
I have an honorable mention for my base set, and it is 1999 Topps Gallery. In this case, I think you need to bring in, like we talk about things being in a museum. Like there's a lot of comic art that deserves to be in a museum. I love the presentation of these cards. They have a faded border, which goes into like a marble type border. And so you put the image right in there. I think it's like a perfect card for that. And I that's what would be my runner up. My number one though is 1996 Topps Finest. I remember not liking these cards a lot back in the day, but I feel like with a comic card, I think it works really well. 1996 Finest, they had like a word, it was like Intimidators, or they had like I have a couple written down here: Intimidators, Gamers, Franchise, Phenom, young star, rookies, so stuff like that. And I really think that would work really well with a comic set. I wouldn't have to follow that exactly, but I think that idea is really good. Plus, then they also did the bronze, silver, and gold in that set. So when we have the refractors, we have the bronze, silver, gold, all those different kinds of parallels. But I think for my perfect set, like the bronze and the silver would both be with the Intimidators and the words or whatever, like the different labels for whatever reason. But then the gold one would be just an art card. And so maybe a gold border would just start because I feel like the art in comic cards are really striking. So I think like you get that the gold one is the one that has the art, the full art, which is maybe a gold border or something.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. And the silver and gold weren't parallels. They're actually part of the set. Isn't that similar to like
Donruss Preferred?
Flare?
Oh, okay.
Isn't the Flare Marvel that they put out have different levels of cards?
Yes.
Are they part of the
yes.
set?
Yep. So, absolutely. Yep.
That'd be really cool. I mean, they got increasingly harder to get.
Like, I was going to say that. I was going to say like, make the silvers like 1 in 3 packs and the golds like 1 in 5 packs. Yeah. I don't want them to be like impossible to get, but like 1 in 3 and 1 in 5 that make them a little bit more, tough to pull. So
be a fun collector set to put together for sure.
Yeah. I love the gallery idea as well, EP. That was one that almost made my list. That that was up there. I really like that idea. And the cool thing about Finest from that era, don't have to worry about hulking because Hulk's in the set, so you'll be totally okay. Yeah.
All right, my base. I'll give an honorable mention too because I was struggling between two. Topps Tech would be my honorable mention.
Yes.
Acetate, but they have all like 30 different backgrounds of them. Imagine the fun you could do with a Marvel card, having an acetate card of a character and then having different backgrounds, different stuff written in the background.
Or Spider-Man with like all hobgoblins like in the background. Something like that.
So cool.
So much stuff.
That'd be very cool.
But the set I decided to go with was Topps Laser. If probably not a lot of people, even if they collect sports cars, are familiar with these, but they were so cool. Laser cut. There was a thing for a little while in the 90s. I feel like they need more variations of the laser cut, but imagine like a Spider-Man that is die cut with a laser cut. They could just do so many different cool things with these cards. Would be kind of unique, I think, too. Not like anything that's ever been put out for Marvel cards. So that's why I'm going with the laser.
I love the first one, your honorable mention, because I don't think there are acetate subsets with Upper Deck right now, the EX Century, for example, but there is not a full-on like acetate set, and I think that would be really cool. It'd be real nostalgic for the 90s, so I'm a big fan of that. Topps Laser, you've talked about it before. It's a great set. Would be a lot of fun and would work really, really well, like you said, with comic book cards.
Yeah, we're going to talk about die cut cards here in just a few moments, but also I agree 100%. And since we're throwing the honorable mention love out there, like having a first Bowman of the Marvel cards, Joe, like that, I love that idea. Like that's a really fun idea. I thought I would want to get a first Bowman of Spider-Man for sure.
Yeah. All right, we're each going to give you 2 insert sets that we came up with, but we were all going to pick the same one. So we thought we would give you a bonus one to start because this one is clearly the one we all want.
Yeah.
Call it a 3x3, call it a triumvirate, whatever you want to call it. Give us this card right here. These cards, they had 3 different players in the sports and then these 3 cards would go together to make one big card. The possibilities for a Marvel type thing, the combinations of characters, the different things they could be doing, these would be fantastic. And we all agreed on this one. This was our number one we were going to pick. So that's why we're throwing it out together.
Yeah, we all were texting before this and we were like, all right, well, I want to do this. And well, yeah, so does EP. So do I. I mean, obviously. So yeah, we had to, the group of us, the triumvirate of us had to as well pick this card. Exactly. And then you could have levels like they did. I forget the names of the levels, but you could have the
luminescent. Yeah.
And something else. There was like, wasn't there or whatever, but
I think they had the base, then the luminous, and
base,
then the luminescent.
Yeah. So you could have the 3 different levels of this and you could mix and match, Spider-Man versus Venom and Carnage, or maybe Spider-Man versus Punisher and Daredevil or teamed up with Punisher and Daredevil. Lots of really great options.
Yeah, it's the combinations that got me excited at first because you could have like 3 X-Men. You could have or you could have an X-Men and 2 villains, right? There's so many different combinations, and depending on how they do the die cut, you could have different cards that would fit in with it to make it like a really like a puzzle type thing where you could make your own triumvirate with the different things depending on how you want to do it. But then also, if you think about the die cut aspect of it, if you had like the Spider-Man web on, for a triple Spider-Man card for Spider-Man, Vengeance, and Carnage, and then if you had like 3 X-Men together, you could use like Storms and then Cyclops, and have just so much. It's incredible to think about the different things they could do with
blowing
it.
his mind.
It's got me
ideas.
so excited about it. Like this one just got me so excited. It was like, I know Joe and Mike are both going to also pick this, so I had that thought immediately.
Number 1 on all of our lists.
With a bullet for sure.
All right, Joe. So what is your first insert set you'd like to see?
My first one kind of similar to a triumvirate in terms of teaming up some characters. So one of the big things in the original like 90s Impel sets and Skybox sets were they would either do greatest battles or they would do team ups. So I'm going with it. You could do it from pretty much any finest set, I'm guessing, but the 1999 one is the one I actually have a copy of. The 1999 finest double team cards. Okay, so what would make these cards really cool is you had 2 football players in this example, but you have 2 players and you have a base card. And then you have a version of that card where one of the players, player A, is in a refractor. Then you have one where player B is in a refractor. Then guess what? You have one where both players are in a refractor. So imagine I'm going to use Spider-Man Daredevil, right? 2 street level heroes in New York City, right? Imagine having them paired up. And then, everyone's chasing the full refractor because, obviously, but then, the Spider-Man being refractored would be like the second choice. And then Daredevil, who I love, by the way, but Daredevil would be over here. And then you could get the base. Like there's levels of collecting, which again, I talked about with Topps Gold Label. There are different levels that you can collect. And then you kind of like Pokemon, got to catch them all, right? So you can do these team ups. And you could do team ups. Maybe you could do a hero and a villain. You could do it some way. Maybe the next set you do heroes and villains. The first set you do team ups. Maybe one set together. I think there's a lot of possibilities because if the MCU has shown non-comic book readers something, it's that we love everyone to be in everyone else's movies. So in this case, we want everyone to be everyone else's cards. And I think this is a great way to push that vehicle forward.
Yeah, I love this idea. Like, I didn't even think about it until you said it. Like, could you imagine comic cards in refractor form?
Oh, I know.
Like, we don't really have that. Like, just think about those, what they would look like in those old 90s refractors, like the ones that really just pop.
They
like,
hit a little different.
Cool. They do.
I've heard.
And we know they'll be making a Topps Chrome and they'll have refractors. Mm-hmm. That's why we didn't pick that. Yeah. We're picking other stuff they won't. But I'm going to pull the Daredevil refractor side now.
You're right. You'll get the
always happens. Always happens. And then I'm going to be mad. And
but it's like Jerry Rice and JJ Stokes. And you're like, damn it, I knew I'd get the JJ Stokes side.
Oh, all right. What do you have for us there, EP?
Well, my first set is kind of similar in that it's going to feature two characters, but it's the 1996 Topps Profiles. Don't know if you guys remember these, but they're these from baseball. Tony Gwynn, it would be like Tony Gwynn, like hitters right on hitters. Right. Tony Gwynn, yeah, right there. Like Tony Gwynn on hitters, where Tony Gwynn is talking about the different hitters in the game. And I would love if they did like the Reed Richards files, where Reed Richards or Tony Stark is talking about the villains. And where the villains like Dr. Doom or the High Evolutionary or whatever are talking about the heroes. So then they can get the salty language and stuff in the background. Like, I think that would be an amazing, amazing card. And then Joe's like freaking out. I think I stole his idea, maybe.
No, you didn't.
Okay. So this profiles, I would love this idea for doing this. And then one of the other things I love, I hope they can do this, is the early Marvel cards. They did like the different levels, like this person's better in strength, this person's better in speed, that sort of stuff. I'd love to have some sort of that thing in there. So the background is you open up a file and this is the information about it, and then the comment from Dr. Doom about this bad guy always gets us or something, or something along those lines. I think that'd be an amazing set. I love it.
All right, the reason I'm freaking out, EP, is they actually did this in 1990. It was Spider-Man interviewing the different characters. Okay. So having an updated version where, you know how Topps like to steal some IP from Upper Deck with the Billy Ripken thing, they could steal this, but they actually have some IP in their vault to do it. Right. And I think this would be like an updated version of that. I think would be really, really cool. And you could play a lot, whether it's using Spider-Man again or another character,
Mhm.
I think this would be a really cool set and hit a nostalgia point without actually stealing or having to buy that
Right.
IP.
Right.
I think would be really cool. And it's kind of like what my next one will be, kind of stealing, but not an homage, if you will,
Hmm.
to that original set.
All right. My first set, I don't know if I'm stealing anybody's, maybe EP's, but I'm going with EP mentioned having Topps Gallery.
Hmm.
Well, you can't have Topps Gallery without the Topps Gallery of Heroes.
That was my
the stained. That's why I went first, because I figured it was the stained glass cards, the Gallery of Heroes. They don't even have to change the name. They could also have the Gallery of Villains.
Yes.
Mhm.
Different take on it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
These cards are gorgeous cards. They're highly collectible cards. People, they still make versions of them today, but the ones from, like, I think in 99, 2000, somewhere in that area. Just, I feel like this set would work perfectly with a comic book IP. And I mean, come on, take my money. I'm giving you my money. You give me Topps Gallery and that has this in it, I'm buying that. I'm going to buy a case. I say it right here. If it happens, I'm buying a case.
How have they not done this for Star Wars? I mean, maybe they have. I don't collect Star Wars, so I really
The
don't know.
Star
But
Wars IP, they kind of do the same
They-
boring stuff.
It's
over
very
and over
terrible.
again.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah.
I
Which
don't like
makes
it.
me disappointed. If they are
right.
taking over Marvel, they need to call us.
Yeah, yeah, they really do.
You
Because
could run the show over there.
or just watch what Upper Deck does. To be on, not to go on a rant, but
No,
just
yeah.
watch what Upper
Yeah.
Deck has done and using that old IP smartly for these products. You know, so that's a great one. That's one of my favorites.
That was my runner. It was my runner up. It's going to be my
good.
extra mention. That actually was the second one I thought of. Like I said, so Profiles was the third one I thought of. But that was going to be my one. That was like, I mean, like, if you talk about cards as art, like that is already that. But then you add a comic book character on top of that, like it just that's awesome. That's such a
Gallery of Heroes.
Gallery
the
of
name
Heroes is
already
such a great name.
fits.
Yep.
And Gallery of Villains. You
Yes.
know
That's
just,
such a
it's
good
so
one.
perfect.
And then
Oh,
you have to change
Too
the
good to
color
not
pattern for the villains too, the more purple and like those like the bad guy colors, the green. Yeah,
That's really, really good. I like that.
All right, Joe. What do you have for us?
I'm going ultra modern with my last pick. It's kind of
I don't
shocking.
know anything
Jeez.
about
I
ultra
know it's kind of shocking. I talked about kind of homages. Well, when we talked about what these card companies should do if we were in charge of them for a day, I boldly said Panini should take the DC license, right?
Mhm.
I was off by one. I was off by one company. But one of my things that I said Panini should do is downtowns for these comic book characters. Now, Topps does not have downtown IP, but they do have home field advantage cards.
Mhm.
I'm not a huge fan of either downtown or home field advantage with athletes, but I think they would be awesome with comic book characters. And could you imagine home field advantage? And I would keep the name. I would absolutely keep the name. Just like they kept Jambalaya, I would keep home field advantage. Could you imagine Spider-Man with the skyscrapers in New York City behind him? Could you imagine Captain Britain, of all people? He's in the set with the Big Ben behind him. Daredevil with Hell's Kitchen stuff behind him. I mean, there's so many opportunities. I was thinking even made up ones. You could have Patch, who is a Wolverine variant with Madripoor behind him, the place where Zemo was dancing like this, if you remember that from Falcon Winter Soldier. I mean, there are so many opportunities to make really, really cool cards, and you can lean into the cartoonish aspect because they're comic book characters. It feels better than some of the downtown, some of the home field advantage for actual human beings. So like I this would be my, and this needs to be not a case hit. This needs to be every other case. This needs to be one in 24 boxes kind of thing. Make these really, really special. If you're going to make them case hits, make a 1-on-1 variant or make a gold version or something. But I think this for me would be like the chase. This would be the jambalaya for this product.
This fixes home field advantages and downtowns for me. I don't like the difference in between the actual photo of the person and then the art, the like the fake looking art. In my opinion, it's not. I don't like the art very much. But if you get somebody that was going to draw the character already and just draw also the background and maybe like a little villain, like one of the little villains that's somewhere up there,
there's a lot of
possibilities. Yeah, so many possibilities. This fixes one of the most popular cards in the game right now. It fixes it for me. So great idea, Joe.
Yeah, and they are so popular that it'd be great to have something like that in there. And thinking about ultra modern, don't do the ultra modern triumvirate. What they have now.
Oh, no,
yes,
no,
no.
Yeah.
Please do the older one.
If they made
do the one we showed, yeah.
If they made home field advantages back in the 90s, use those. They didn't, but use those because they're way better back then.
They'd still be really cool. And like even some of the different space characters and stuff, it'd be fantastic. They could do a lot with that. That'd be great. All righty, P.
All right, my this is actually the first one I thought of, and I'm pretty excited about this. Bring back Mystery Finest, and the true Mystery Finest. Make
true
sure
mystery.
That was one of my one of my runner-ups here. Yeah.
Yep, watch 3 cards about the bullshit Mystery Finest stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah.
A Mystery Finest, that'd be amazing with refractors, and they could do the bordered and borderless like they did. I think it was in '96, whatever year it was. Like they have multiple years of doing this, but I really think bring that back and have it. You could have usually it's like four players, and then you have to peel the card to find out which player you have on there. You could have villains and heroes on the same card. You could have 4 heroes on the same. You could have 4 X-Men on the same card. Like there are a lot of possibilities are endless for this, and I love the idea of getting a card that's a big hit, like a box hit or maybe even a case hit, and not knowing what it is when you first get it, and having that extra anticipation of peeling the peel off. So that would be amazing.
I'm totally in on that. Yeah, that and. I mean, like rip cards are really popular now too. Like, do I rip it? Do I not? And
top secret, top secret cards have Clear Ultra Wolverine. Yeah.
But yeah, this would be great. Don't put a number on the back, so we don't know which one it is. And I like the idea though. You could have like 4 characters. You could get them just by themselves, or any combination of like 2 of them, 3 of them, or 4 of them. Like maybe make the one with all 4 of them, like the lower numbered one or something. The front.
Yeah.
Like you could make that a chase within a chase, and then make people like, do I peel it or not? This could be just the plain old Spider-Man, or it could be Spider-Man with like the 3 other villains. Like that would be great. They really need to call us. We have some
like these are like great ideas.
Yeah.
Like to the point about that, Mike, the top secrets, people still sell them sealed because it's the idea of what it might be. And the sealed ones sell for almost as much as the top characters opened.
Well, it could be that.
Yeah, exactly.
It could be a boat. It could be a boat. No.
Give me that. Yeah, give me.
Yeah. But this is great. Have the numbering on the front. Don't say refractor anywhere. Like this would be a really, really good one.
All right. I'm going back to 1992. Give me some Beam Team.
Oh yeah.
How, like, they're kind of ridiculous for basketball, but when you apply them to Marvel cards, they make a lot more sense, don't they? Like a Marvel, imagine Spider-Man with like the 92 Beam Team. Like you could make like the web he's shooting out be the beams from I think there's so many possibilities there with the Beam Team, one of their greatest IPs of all time, one of the greatest insert sets of all time. And even though the 93s are better looking than 92s, but I'm using 92s because those are classic, Michael
it's a
Jordan,
nostalgia point.
Shaq, absolutely. They could obviously change them for different years, but how cool would Beam Team look with Marvel cards? Again, take my money.
And I don't even think they have to change for different years because you don't want them to do like 100 characters, right? There's so many characters.
Yeah, you could keep the one design and just make it like a bigger master set every year when you
like the Jambalayas change the background just a little bit, but in and of itself, it's an oval card, right? With a border and then a character right in the middle. I mean, you do that. Do Beam Team every year. That's the case chase of that set, whatever they put it in. And that's another thing we need to say. Like, Fleer Ultra did not have jambalayas, but
Mhm.
like Fleer Ultra, the set back in the 90s or,
Mhm.
early 2000s didn't have jambalayas, but they didn't have EX. EX was its own set.
Mhm.
Use some of these things in like whatever set you're making. If you're making Topps Chrome, throw in a beam team. What's it
Yeah,
matter? Throw
absolutely.
in a
Right.
home field advantage or
Mhm.
whatever. It
Mystery
doesn't
finest.
matter.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can throw them
yeah.
all into whatever set you're making just to be those special insert chases. That's what Upper Deck does, and it works really, really well.
Yeah, a beam team was one of those. I never pulled a beam team. I don't think myself, because they were really tough to pull. But I feel like the one, since we're thinking ahead, I think the beam team would have different levels of parallels, and then maybe the regular beam team is just the design, but then the first beam team parallel is the one with the Spider-Man spider webs where the beams are instead.
Beam
So
team
maybe you could do
gold
it.
and
Right.
beam team
Yeah.
blue, and I mean,
Yeah.
it works too well for them to do it.
Mm.
Do it.
Yep.
Do you guys
Yep.
want to throw out quickly one more honorable mention?
Well, you took mine, so I don't. I mean, I could throw out any number of them, but
I mean, we didn't talk about Topps Chrome because they're definitely going to do it, but I think it needs to be mentioned. You need to do Topps Chrome, but you need to do it really, really well. Like, the problem I have with Topps, I'm just going to talk in generalities real quick. Problem I have with Topps stuff is it's either refractor based or it seems to be autograph based, and you're going to have to do something so much different for stuff like this because the autographs are not the major chases of a lot of the Marvel products. So I'm glad none of us brought up autograph cards, but like I think that's going to be an issue. And keep in mind, guys, we didn't even talk about MCU potential for some of these cards because I assume when they get the Marvel license, they're also getting the MCU license, which Upper Deck doesn't use that often. So I think a lot of these cards you could translate into the MCU side of it. But I don't have any more. I have like a whole stack of Topps cards I could just throw out there. But yeah.
I have one more honorable mention.
Okay. I will do one then too.
Make a Topps Tiffany set. A sealed set. You can make it all fancy. You could charge a lot of money for it too. But like kind of the throwback to like a 90 Marvel Impel card, do it in a Topps, but you do it in a Tiffany version. I think that'd be awesome. Limited sets. That'd be really cool.
What was the high-end set that had the WWE high-end set that they had? Could you imagine?
Oh, I didn't even want to go there.
A Marvel Transcendent set with all original artwork. They have sketch cards, even in the WWE version of it, don't they? And they have pops that are autographed. I'm fearful of what Fanatics might do with Marvel because of how much they like money. But yeah, that I could totally see a Topps Transcendent set as well. Ooh.
One of the things I talk about, I'm going to talk about on the Friday show, and then Topps has done these before as well. They do like a set, like a Roberto Clemente set that of all his cards, like a commemorative set of all of his cards that are inserts. What if you did that with, like, say, Spider-Man, where you start with the Stephen Ditko Spider-Man, and then you have all the different ones of all the different artists that have done Spider-Man. So we're pulling art from the comics, but we have the different things in like a gallery type of product. I think that'd be amazing to have like the set of all the different Spider-Man artists, one of their versions. I think that'd be cool to do for many of the characters.
Well, we could talk all day about this.
I'm proud of us a little bit.
I am proud. Yeah. This one could have easily been 2 hours long, but we had to cut it off. But please, Topps, listen to us. We know what we're talking about. Give us something a little more than Topps Chrome and some kind of sapphire stuff. Like, just do it. Just do it. Listen to us.
Don't
Watch
Star
this
Wars
video.
Please.
Yeah.
Don't Star Wars Marvel.
Please don't.
Yeah.
All right. Let us know what you think in the comments. And
do you have any ideas?
Yeah.
Yes.
Are we missing something?
I think we got them all.
I think we might have nailed it, but
all right, guys. We'll see you next week. Take care.
See you, boys.